Hello everyone. Can you see my voice? And can you see my? Can you see the
Hello
slide?
everyone.
Can you see my voice? And can you see my? Can you see the
Hello
slide?
everyone.
Let's see, Tim.
Let's see.
Can you see my voice?
So if you can hear my voice and see the slides, please give some comment. I hope you can see my voice and you can hear my voice. Okay, thank you for your comment. So let's start the event. So thank you for coming event tonight. So I will really looking forward to sharing about Mercari. So today, online meetup for women engineering students. So first of all, let me share about the event outline and let's move on to the main contents. Okay, so let's go to the next slide and let me share about the event information first. So this is the event outline today. So there are three main contents today. The first one is Mercari introduction. So at this section, you will understand about what is Mercari and product or culture. So about our intensive introduction and so on. And after that, we move on to the panel talk session. So at this session, we invite two women engineers to Mercari. And you will understand about why did they choose Mercari and the challenging opportunity in Mercari and so on. And lastly, we move on to the Q&A session. At this session, we accept the question from you and we answer them one by one, as many as possible. So this is the event outline. So please enjoy this event. And this event is recorded and broadcasted on YouTube. And this is conducted in English. And feel free to ask questions at chat space. So please ask anything at the chat space. Okay, so let's practice comment in the chat space. So I think we will use the chat space at the Q&A session. So let's practice about it. So what did you do last weekend? Please fill out the comment at the chat space. As for me, I went to the India last week, and this is the picture of the business trip in India. And I went to the IIT Hyderabad and Bangalore. So I hosted the event there. So let's wait for your comment. Can you comment? So what did you do last weekend? Thank you, Rika-san. Yeah, Rika-san also visited in India with me. So can you see, let me see your comment on the chat space. So what did you do last weekend? So for example, having some coffee with your friend or study or examination or some further job. So everything is okay. So please give us some comment. Oh, thank you. Submitted my GSOC final project. Oh, you did a final project. Thank you for your comment. So anything else? Everything is okay. So please give us some comment. So anything else? I think it's okay. So okay, so time has come. So we will finish. We finished the practicing the comments. So please ask me anything at the Q&A session. Okay, so let's move on to the next mid semester. Thank you. So let's move on to the next session. So first session is introduction of Mercari. So Rika-san, please start your presentation.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Rika. I'm in New Grads TA team. And in this session, I will briefly talk about what is Mercari, first of all, who we are, what we do. So let's begin. So next slide, please. By the way, so this is an online event, but we would like to make this as proactive or as what do you call it? As communicative as possible. So please feel free to leave your comments on the YouTube chat, and we would love to hear your comments, any questions about Mercari. So feel free to leave your comment. So, first of all, I actually wanted to ask everyone here if you have heard about Mercari before this event. If you have heard about Mercari before this event, would you like say something in the comments? Maybe you've heard about it or saw our ads somewhere before this event. Because a lot of people here have, are not in Japan, I'm guessing not a lot of people have heard about Mercari, but okay. Okay, Mercari Dev Japan responded, no, I hope they knew about us, but okay. I hope some of you know about or heard about us before. But okay, let's move on. So what is Mercari? So Mercari is Japan's largest C2C marketplace where individuals can easily sell and buy various items from daily things like clothes, shoes, makeup, to big things such as motorcycle or even cars. So anything can be sold and bought in Mercari. Next slide, please. So a little about company overview. So we were founded in 2013 in February. So this is our 9th year, and we're about to have our 10th anniversary next February. So we're still considered mid-sized startup, but as you can see here, we have various group companies and also services that makes up for about 2,000 employees in total. So I will talk a bit about their group companies and services in later slides. Next slide, please. And before getting into details, I would like to talk about our mission because we believe our mission is very, very important. So our mission is this: create value in a global marketplace where anyone can buy and sell. So why this mission and why marketplace app Mercari? So a little backstory to this mission is that our group CEO, Shintaro Yamada, he traveled around the world in 2010, especially mostly in developing countries, and saw the harsh reality that lives and opportunities are limited by the environment that people live in, regardless of how hard they try. So after coming back to Japan, he was surprised to see how widespread smartphones were, replacing flip phones. And that's when he came up with an idea of a global marketplace where a person can sell things they no longer need. And someone maybe on the other side of the world who wants it can buy it. So by connecting individuals around the world on smartphones and have them share valuable resources, this way he thought that we might be able to raise the standard of living in developing countries, even by a little. So that's how he came up with the idea of Mercari. Next slide, please. But we actually weren't the first one in Japan to enter this market. There were a few competitors who were ahead of us back in 2013. So how we became number one in Japan is definitely due to the technologies that we have in Mercari, and I would like to talk a little bit about this. So one of the strengths is the easy selling and buying experience that we have a few examples here. So on the left, it says escrow payment. So we offer a safe and secure transaction experience through escrow payments. And next one in the middle, we have a delivery environment that allows you to easily sell items from send on items from a convenience store or post office near your home. And next one is AI listing / barcode listing. But listing needs to be easy to sell things, right? So we also have this AI-based listing as a feature, such as barcode listing, which makes the listing super easy. So if you want to sell a book, for example, each book has a barcode on the back, so you just scan it, and it will automatically input some information about the title, the author, and a price suggestion as well. So you can get the listing done within 15 seconds. So it's very, very easy to use. So next slide, please. Okay, next I would like to talk a bit about our group company services. So we actually have these services, but not on different app, but all these services are like within the Mercari app. So first we have Merpay, which is which enables allow our users to utilize their money that they made in Mercari to use inside Mercari or outside of Mercari. So if you sell something on Mercari, you get some money back in return, right? So you can use that money to buy something else in Mercari, or you can also decide to buy something out of Mercari app. For example, at a convenience store or a drugstore, restaurants, a lot of stores across Japan. So that's what Merpay does. Next slide, please. And also we have Mercari shops, which launched just last year, and this allows anyone to have their own online shop. So with this new service, we have gained a new type of customers from someone who makes, let's say, handmade accessories to a farmer, let's say, in the countryside in Japan who otherwise never even thought about having their online stores. So as you can see here on this slide, you can actually buy vegetables on Mercari shops. So, okay, next slide, please. And next up is another group company is Mercari US. It's a marketplace up in America. So as the name implies, it's a Mercari in America. We started this business in 2014, just 1 year after its founding in Japan in 2013. And as you can see here, we have different UI, UX, and also logo is different, catering to the local needs, which are, different from Japan. So this is another service that we have, not in Japan, but in the US. So these are the main group companies and other services that we have. Next slide, please. Okay, so next up, I would like to talk a bit about a work environment, work culture. So in Mercari, as you can see on this slide, we have employees from over 40 countries. And in engineering division, almost half, 50% of our engineers are non-Japanese, like outside of Japan. So this makes our workforce pretty diverse. And next slide, please. And following our diverse workforce and the breakout of COVID-19 in 2020, we came up with our own work style called Your Choice just last year. And this allows our employees to work from anywhere as long as they are in Japan. So as you can see on the left, 91% of people are working remotely, not from the office, but from wherever they are in Japan. And on the right side, you can see I guess you can call it a satisfaction rate. A lot of people have said that this work, Your Choice, have allowed them to perform to their best. So it's been almost exactly a year since we implemented this Your Choice, but I think overall it's working very well for our employees. Next slide, please. Okay, so this one is it says work environment, but more about the benefits in Mercari. So we have this like a package of benefits. We call it Mercy Box. So as you can see here, we have wide range of benefits for employees, from maternity, paternity leave, and of course paid child care and caregiving leave, all the way to the right side. It says financial support for egg freezing. This is actually, it says in black that its trial is now underway, but we actually have officially started to implement this as a one of the benefits. So a lot of people have already benefited from this support. So we have many benefits like this to support our employees, whether female employees or male employees, to perform to their best with us. Next slide, please. Okay, so this one is more about like work environment, like work image, I guess. But this is before COVID, but we used to have this kind of offline events where people come together and have lunch events or lunch and learn. So a lot of events. So personally, I hope that we have this kind of events again when the COVID is sort of settled. And okay, next slide, please. Oh, okay, let's skip the India part because I think we're running out of time. And speaking of a work location, we're talking about work locations. So I wanted to talk about a bit about Tokyo. So right now we are looking for interns to come to Japan and work with us for a few months. And I think I will talk about that a little bit later too. But so what is like, living and working in Japan like, or in Tokyo? So this is a night image of Tokyo. Tokyo is a population of 13 million people, I believe almost 14, said to be one of the safest cities in the world. And our office is right in the middle of it. So the building, the red arrow is pointing, is actually our building. It's in Roppongi, which you can see more details in the next slide. So next slide, please. So yeah, Roppongi is one of the biggest international cities in the Tokyo area, and it's a hub for major global businesses and tech startups. So this is where you'll be working at. And when you think about working in Tokyo, of course, I mean, you will probably think about what to eat, what kind of food options are available. So I just wanted to add here that whether you are vegetarian or want to eat halal food, we have wide variety of selection for you in Tokyo. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so that being said, so what is internship in Mercari like? So I just wanted to briefly talk about this as well. So we are right now taking internship applications for summer 2023, so next year. And available positions are for software engineering roles, such as backend, front-end, mobile, all the way to security engineer and also corporate engineering as well. The requirements, non-technical requirements, is that you are available to relocate to Japan for the internship, and also the minimum of 3 months. I would say 2 to 3 months, but 3 months is preferable. And of course, when you come to Japan, we will take care, or we will support the application for internship visa and round trip flight to Japan. Well, between Japan and your country will be covered, as well as accommodation during your internship. And just quickly about the selection process. So we have doc screening, coding tests, and 2 interviews for the internship round, although the order and also the type of skill tests are a little different depending on the position that you apply to. But basically, first, once you apply, we send you a skill test. After that, we will go into document screening. We have 2 interviews, and if you successfully pass all the stages, then we extend internship offer to you. So that is a general idea of how internship in Mercari works. So if you have any question about this, we will love to hear your questions in later time when we have Q&A. So that's it from me for the company introduction. And okay, so let's move on to the panel discussion. So we have 2 engineers from Mercari, joining us today. So Snehal and Giselle, would you introduce about yourself? I think they're coming. I hope they're coming.
Yes, we are here.
All right, so Machi-san, could you go to the next slide?
So let me start with me first. So hello, my name is Snehal. I work at Mercury JP. I'm responsible for a customer experience domain in Camp Core, and I'm working as an engineering manager uh, in Mercury. That's all.
All right, thank you, Snehal. Okay, and Giselle?
Hello, I'm Giselle. I just joined Mercari 3 months ago, this July. And I'm working in the team marketing and data science as a machine learning engineer. And I graduated from the University of Tokyo and I majored in environmental science. My hobbies are dancing, cooking, and reading. Nice to see you today.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so here I will be asking a few questions to both of them, and then we'll answer and discuss about those points. So first question to both of you. So first of all, how did you get to know about Mercari, and why did you decide to work with us? So maybe Snehal, you can start?
Sure. So basically, I visited Japan as a tourist 8 years back when I was in Malaysia, and I love the weather. I love the ramen. I love all the food and people. So when I was taking my flight back, I just opened my phone and checked the job market for IT in Japan, and I actually subscribed to a famous newsletter that sends information about the job openings in Japan. So when I was in Malaysia, I was thinking of my next adventure, like where I want to venture into. And there was an unopened newsletter in my inbox, and I just clicked on it. And there was a position for Mercari as an engineering manager. And I Googled quickly, and found a link about a technical blog post written by a backend engineer regarding the microservice architecture. I was not able to stop. Basically, I went through the lots of articles on that website, and hence, basically, I ended up joining Mercari in December 2019. So the reasons like why I joined Mercari, there are several reasons, but I would like to focus or mention two of them. The first one is basically the technology stack used in Mercari. Personally, I like to tackle technical challenges, and during that time, Mercari was working on transforming their legacy system into more flexible modern applications. And they were trying to do it by supporting the millions of users that we have in Japan. So I really wanted to understand like how do these people do it. The second factor was basically my final interview between the CTO and Ken, who was director during that time. And during my interview session, they basically spoke honestly about the organization issues and the vision of Mercari's engineering teams, which they like to achieve, like being data driven, engineering driven, and fostering diversity. So through the interview, I strongly felt that the organization needs me. And also, I thought that I can learn a lot while driving these changes with me. And that was basically the deciding factor for me to pick Mercari.
Thank you very much. I actually never heard about like like looking at Mercari or job openings in Japan on your way back, like on your flight back to that. That was interesting.
I basically love the snow, and I come from all the tropical countries. So I was like, okay, this country has a snow.
Yeah, for that, I think Japan is a perfect country. We have snow. If you want to go somewhere hot, we do have crazy hot summer as well. So if you want to have the full experience, I think Japan is a great country to go to. Okay, great. Thank you, Snehal. So how about you, Giselle?
Yeah. Also, I get to know Mercury at for the first time during a hackathon held by one of my university professors that's aimed for female students in IT industry. And then I did an internship through the Build at Mercury project, which aims at minorities in IT industry. And then after the intern, I feel I really like the team because like the team environment, it really depends. Like there are teams that are more product focused and they would have a faster development pace. But there's also a team that are a little bit more focused like on research and also experiment. So my team is on the latter one, which focuses more on doing research and experiment. And also everybody in our team is really keen to learn new things. We have like a paper reading session once or twice a week. So I really like that. Yeah, and that's why I decided to try to work at Mercari.
All right, thank you very much. So yeah, I actually worked with Giselle during her internship, and also before that, we had a training session called Build at Mercari. So yeah, so that's how Giselle got to know about us. And one thing she pointed out about the reading or session within the team, I think that's a part of a Mercari's culture, whether it's reading or like studying something together. We have that. A lot of our engineering team have that within the team or across team, like once a week to learn something new, to study something together. So I think that's one of the great culture that we have. All right, thank you very much. So, oh, by the way, so people, those, who are listening to this, I think we are getting some comments, but please feel free to, leave comments or questions. I will try to, pick them as much as I can. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. How is the work style of women at Mercari? So, in other words, like as a female engineer, how do you work at Mercari? Like, what kind of work style you have in Mercari? So, I guess I can ask Snehal again.
Actually, it depends on many factors, but in general, each team has their own working style where they belong in the organization. Like as Giselle mentioned, her team is more like experiment focused or more works differently than other teams. So in case of my team, we are in product engineering. So most of our work involve working with members with a diverse skill set like designer, analyst, and technical project manager. And as most of the teams in Mercari are pretty diverse, so the environment is very supportive. Like if I ask questions, nobody will say that why did you ask this question? And like I can feel that psychological safety while working with this diverse skill set of people. And we work together to actually bring some of these ideas to life. I want to go back a little bit back, like during pandemic, because that's where I felt the major difference of working as a woman from home. So during the pandemic, it was basically challenging for each team member to do or work flawlessly. And I had my 2-year-old at home at the same time. And it was challenging to have meeting, interviews, and these ideation sessions with the team. But I was glad that Mercari started to roll out policies that allowed us to have like flex time that we can work at any time during the day. And we can basically asynchronously contribute to ideas. And I think during that time, we rolled out even our policy of your choice, which basically allows all of the members to move closer to their families. My team had a couple of members where their families were in, other prefectures in Japan, so they ended up moving there with their families, and it basically boosted the productivity within the team. And people were less stressed compared to the past, and so overall, I would say like the working style is pretty good, and I really like it. It makes me every day wake up and try to see what's the new challenge which I should take today.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I think having flex work style and also your choice, I think as I mentioned earlier a little bit in the earlier slides, I think it's contributing to a lot of people performing to their best. So it's great to hear. Okay, so how about you, Giselle?
I feel Sneha has already mentioned like the majority of the points, because like I'm a new grad, I'm yet to have a family of my own, so I don't really feel like there's so much difference between working style of men and women. So like I feel everybody is like, yeah, thanks to our your choice policy, we can work at times when we are most comfortable. So for example, when I have a dancing class at like maybe 7 p.m., I can like try to start working earlier in the morning and finish up earlier in the afternoon. So I think that's a really great part.
Yes, I agree. I picked up many hobbies during this time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people do. Like whether they when they want to start late, they work late. If they want to work early, they finish early. So it's really up to each and individual employees what kind of work style they have in a day. So we do have that flexibility. And yeah, I think we're all benefiting from that, including myself. Okay. All right then. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so next slide is next question is: could you tell me or tell us the career samples of women, female engineers at Mercari? So I believe this question is for Snehal. So
So basically, in Mercari, we have different paths that engineer can take, and we support all of them regardless of gender. I would like to focus on this path because I think it's applicable to any engineer. So many of the engineers in Mercari start at IC path, which we say as an individual contributor. So they are basically software engineers specialized in certain skill set like maybe iOS, Android, front end, back end, or ML. So if I have to give examples of some of the different, like paths you can have. So when you join a company, you come with a certain skill set. You can basically choose to learn a new skill set within the organization. I have a couple of people in my team who were iOS engineers and they learned about Android. Now they know about iOS and Android both. Some of them preferred Android. So that's a kind of a flexible choice which you can make within the organization. And some of the people after a certain duration, they were like bold, they were confident enough, and they said that, oh, I think I can lead engineering teams, and they basically wanted to become engineering manager. And it's really possible that we have a couple of cases in Mercari where they joined as a software engineer and then they changed their career path to become engineering manager. And basically, I also chose a path like this when I joined my previous organization. And apart from that, like you can still choose to specialize in the same skill set. Like you want to stay as an iOS engineer and you want to improve that, and you would like to move to higher grades like senior engineer, technical leads, and architect, and etc. So basically, in Mercari, we believe that everybody is a software engineer. And why do we call them software engineer? Is because it makes it easy for engineers to learn about each other tech stacks without hesitation. Because if we start calling them ML engineers and Android engineers or something like that, it just gets complicated. So if you see even our job descriptions on the website, it will be SWE, that software engineers specialize in Android. And I would like to, say that choose what you're passionate about. Like if you like writing code, designing complex architecture to solve business needs, follow it. If you like to build teams or do people management, then you can do that at a certain duration of the time. But I would just say that follow your own personal path, and you can follow this in Mercari as well. Like whatever you like to do, you can do. It's just that you should be passionate enough and go through all those challenges and learning lessons to acquire those skills.
all right, great. Thank you, Snehal. I just wanted to add a few things to what she said. So we do have a lot of flexibility in building careers in Mercari. That's what I think. And she mentioned about Android engineer to iOS, or I'm sorry, it might have been the other way around. So I do see a lot of engineers changing their field, and not just engineer to engineer, but from, let's see, software engineers to let's see, product managers, or even there has been a several cases in Mercari where interpreter, English to Japanese interpreter, they became software engineers through learning within Mercari when they, I believe, interpreting, the teams, engineering teams. So we do have that flexibility. So if you want to learn something in Mercari, you do have the good opportunity to learn many things within the company, so you can sort of like explore what kind of possibilities you have in Mercari. And another thing, I wanted to mention is that so she said that everyone is a software engineer, and we do have that idea in new grads hiring as well. So once new grads join us, then we usually have this training. It's called Dev Dojo, where they learn about the various technologies that we have in Japan. So even if you join us as a backend engineer, you will have the training, or you will learn about iOS development, machine learning side of things as well. So you have like a various knowledge, starting in Mercari. So that's also what we have. Okay. All right. So, okay, I try not to talk that much. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. What kind of opportunities you have as an engineer at Mercari? What kind of opportunities? Okay, so maybe I can start asking Giselle about this question.
Yeah. So actually, there are a lot. So I'll just pick some of the most important ones to me. So first is, as I think Snehal and Nika-san mentioned partly before, that I think the flexibility, for example, when you just entered, it's really hard to get an idea of what you really want to be in the future. So for example, for me, I can get a lot of like advice from my manager, from my engineering managers. For example, we would have like a meeting monthly, and we would talk about like what I want to do in the next quarter and what kind of skills I want to focus on. Because I'm a data scientist, we would usually talk about like, for example, whether I want to focus more on analytics and modeling and be a specialist, or I can try to expand my skill set, for example, to the backend side, and to become more like a generalist. So we have that kind of talk, like I think once a month. So I think that's really helpful to me in terms of my personal growth and future plan. And also, I think our team, we also have this plan to try to do experiment and write papers and get them published on conference. So I think that would also be a great experience, although I haven't joined such a project yet. But I think for everybody who's interested in research, that will be really great experience.
All right, thank you very much, Giselle. And for you, Snehal?
I think the only word comes to my mind, because Giselle mentioned a lot. I would just say limitless. And the reason why I'm using this word is because I believe in Mercari, we can work with any team that is trying to solve a problem. Like in Mercari, we use Slack as a communication tool, and most of the project channels are open. Like if they are technical channel, technical related projects, or if they are other related projects, they are pretty open. And often these channels are trying to solve some kind of problem. So you can volunteer yourself and join these virtual channels on their mission, like what they want to accomplish. To give you guys a recent example, I work in product engineering team, and we have this other team, which is a data engineering team. And we never interact with each other because we do not have any common touch points. But I accidentally stumbled upon this channel where they were trying to solve some problem, and I was like, okay, can I work with you guys to solve this thing? And they were like, why not? I mean, So I would say like the environment is a very open environment. As Giselle also mentioned, like you can join study sessions, lunch and learn sessions, and coffee sessions that are organized by various teams within Mercari. So it's not just in product engineering. They are from security, they are from platform, and there is a lot of things to learn. And I just really like this because it just allows me to explore the other areas which I usually don't get a chance to explore, and work with these diverse and talented people like which we have in Mercari. So I basically think like working with these kind of people is basically greatest opportunities because they have done like a lot of academic studies, and they have different kind of way of thinking. And I think like that's one of the best thing about Mercari.
Right, thank you very much. Yeah, I do agree with everyone wanting to learn, and they have the positive attitude about learning new things in Mercari, and there's a lot of resources for that. So yeah, I too believe that Mercari is actually a great company to learn something that is like outside of your regular job. So yeah, I think I do definitely agree with what Snehal and Giselle said. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so what kind of career do you want to achieve in Mercari? Like, your career goal in Mercari, what you want to achieve in Mercari. So, Giselle, what do you think?
Yeah. So to be honest, I think I'm still a student. Like, although I graduated, I'm still learning a lot of new things. So it's really hard for me to say, like, I want to become this in the next 2 years. I want to become this in the next 4 years. So, but I think the best part for me right now is I'm allowed the enough space to explore, like to try out like different options and try out different tasks and try to work with different people, different teams. So, I think the simplest answer would be for the maybe next 1 year, I want to explore different tasks, like working with different teams and working on different types of projects, and also maybe working on tasks that would require different skill sets to expand my vision, to expand my knowledge. Yeah, so that would be my answer.
All right, thank you, Giselle. Okay, how about you, Snehal?
I would say that it's a very good question and also difficult question to answer. So I would like to use my 2 years journey with Mercari as an example, like how it has shifted my career. So I am a very curious person and I like to learn different things and solve problems. So when I joined 2 years ago, my goal was just to learn about Mercari, like how do they do product development in an e-commerce company. I have never worked in an e-commerce sector, so Mercari is my first company. And also from the architecture point of view, um, so like as you guys know, like one of my driving factor was technical challenges, and that's that's basically where I start with. So when I joined Mercari, I was basically a EM for a mobile team, but over time, I basically started building teams and visions with my peer for product, like what do we want to achieve with product and those kind of things. So I wouldn't say like I have a career goal, like what I want to be, because I want to just do what I'm trying to do right now, but do it in the best possible way. That is, build strong, autonomous, data-driven product teams in Mercury. And I just want to be a lifelong learner, like learn from other people. So if you ask me, like I cannot pinpoint my career at this point.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely a hard question. I probably wouldn't be able to like answer in one word. All right, thank you very much. So I think this is the last question for this panel talk. So what kind of people, what kind of I guess software engineers, or what kind of people would you like to work with in Mercari? So how about you, Snehal?
I basically like to work with engineers who are curious. they are positive and have a can-do attitude. Like they can break any kind of mountains, they can learn the new tech stack, and they are not afraid. And I believe that some of these skill sets which I mentioned just now, these allow the individuals to grow and contribute to the organization in a better way. So I'm looking for people who can take risks, can go bold, who want to be professional, who want to deepen their understanding, and I want them to be able to work with teams, like because you're working with diverse set of people. So I just want them to be the puzzle in the block, which can fit together with the other teams and with the other people in the team.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you very much. It's interesting how you covered what you just said covers all the values that we have.
Yes.
So I didn't get to introduce about our values. So our values is like almost as important as our mission that I explained earlier. We have all for one, be a pro, and go bold. These three values. So these are very important to us. And yeah, I definitely agree that we want to work with someone who embodies these values. Okay, so how about you, Giselle?
Yeah, so I feel like in terms of like the engineers I know, I feel there's really a lot of like diversity in everybody's working style. But I think the most important ability, like because of such diversity, is to be able to communicate. Because like, when I was the student, like usually even if it's a like a teamwork task, as long as you work hard at it, you can also like can always like finish it somehow on your own if your teammate is not working or the teamwork is like having some obstacles. But when you're working at a company, it's really impossible for a single person to cover up every part of the project. So I think the communication ability is really important. It doesn't mean you have to be talkative or extremely extrovert. I think the most important skill is like you are willing to talk to people. You are willing to exchange even if your opinion differs, and also you're willing to listen.
Wow, I think I missed this point, but thank you for highlighting.
No, yeah, thank you too. Like, I think that's definitely a good point. And yeah, first of all, I mean, someone that embodies our value, but also, first of all, someone who is willing to communicate with to get things done, right? So yeah, that's definitely important. All right, so yeah, so that's the kind of people we want to work with. So if you guys think that you fit what we talked about, please feel free to apply to our internship. So that's it for the panel session. So thank you, Snehal and Giselle, for your time. So let's see. Okay, next Q&A session. So Masi-san.
Okay, thank you very much, Rika-san and Giselle-san and Snehal-san. I hope that you guys understand about Mercari culture or career opportunity or diversity.
I hope that.
Okay, so let's move on to the Q&A session. So we take about 5 or 10 minutes and we accept some questions from you and we answer them one by one. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave the comment in the chat space. And you can ask everything. For example, those who are looking for the internship position, you can ask about the internship experience or internship opportunities or living in Tokyo. You can ask everything. Or some you can ask about engineering careers. If you want to, if you'd like to know more about the detail in growing the career in Mercari, so you can ask about that. So if you have any questions, so please feel free to leave the comment. I think it seems a little bit nervous to read the comments. So, okay, so I got some questions when you apply. So when you apply to this event. So let's see the questions we got in advance. So I'd like to, so I think many attendees thinking about to apply the internship at the Mercury. So, Giselle-san, so if you can, could you tell me your internship experience at Mercury? For example, the most memorable or most interesting experience at Mercury.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So internship, I did my internship for 2 months in my team, and I joined. Like usually people would join summer holiday, but because our team was pretty busy during summer holidays, so I joined at the beginning of my semester. So actually, the final presentation of my internship overlaps with my midterm. So that was really like a great hassle to like juggle things and to manage my time schedule. But I feel like the internship is really great because like I think like 1 week before my intern began, I had a meeting with my manager and mentor, and we talked about like my roadmap during the intern. Like 2 months is really short actually. So how do I want to utilize the time and what kind of skills do I want to grow? I think that meeting was really helpful because it really makes me settle down my timeline for the whole project. And I would say the most interesting part is the team building. We have quite a few team building events, and one of them we went to the rooftop of our office, which has amazing night city view, and we took a team photo. And it was really beautiful. So I think that memory was really great.
Thank you very much. Yeah, as you said, in Mercari, there are so many team building contents, for example, lunch session or other kinds of team building content. So I think we can make a lot of connections in Mercari. So I had a question from attendees. Thank you for your questions. Is this 2023 summer internship? Yes, this is for the 2023 summer internship. But if you graduate after 2023, you can also apply to the internship. So please, if you are interested in Mercari's internship, please apply. Okay, thank you for your questions. And anything else? Okay, so let's talk about the question in advance. Okay, so I think I'd like to ask Snehal-san about the tech stacks. So how do you think how do you think about the interesting tech stack in Mercari? How do you think compared to other companies?
Interesting tech stack. I would say the mobile tech stacks. The reason why I'm saying this is because we are using Jetpack Compose, which is fairly new, and we were actually mentioned by Google for using Jetpack Compose in production for such a big app. I think like some of these technologies which we are trying to use right now, maybe like at least on mobile, they are pretty good, and the latest one. For backend, I think is fairly common, like many of the people have Golang and those kind of things. But I would say in terms of our infrastructure wise, we are exploring many new toolings. I wouldn't say tech stack, but I would say toolings where we can make the deployments much faster. We can have this kind of overview about our systems, where they are failing, where they are not failing. So in terms of like tech stack, I think, yeah, we are fairly using the latest tech stack. But we also have a PHP monolith, so let's not forget that. So I would say like it's a tech stack of generation. So we have some of our systems built in PHP.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, as you said, I think the environment of Mercari is fast changing day by day. So we have a lot of chance to catch up the latest stack in Mercari. Okay, thank you.
Just,
So,
how about, now talking about tech stack, how about we show the our slides on tech stack?
Yes.
Okay.
If you go down to page 38, you should be able to find it.
Okay. Okay.
Because sorry, I cannot pronounce all this. But you can see it's like a very tech stack. So you can
Yeah.
get to work with PHP, but Python at the same time.
Okay, thank you very much. And we got new questions from Saitama-san. Thank you very much for your question. And would you offer internship or directly looking for full time? Basically, we accept the internship position. So depend on the outcome, or depend on the outcome of the internship. So sorry. Firstly, we accept the internship, and after that, you can apply to the full-time position. So you cannot apply to the full-time position directly. Okay, so let's move on to the next questions. Where do we need to apply for the internship? Is it on the company portal or Mercari itself? If possible, could you please tell the job ID for the same? Yeah, thank you very much. So you can apply to the internship position at student career site, as I sent by the email. So so you can apply to the internship position at Mercari student career site. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So do we have to know Japanese to apply? No, you don't need to apply in Japanese, because in Mercari, we basically use English and Japanese. So in the selection process, you can choose Japanese or English. So yeah, so you don't need to know Japanese. So please don't worry about that.
One thing to add about that is that for most software engineering position, we don't require Japanese. So all the selection process, like interviews and communications, could be done in English if you prefer English. But some certain positions, such as site reliability engineering, because of the team situation, for that position particularly, they require Japanese language. But other positions, I believe, we don't require Japanese.
Thank you, Rika-san. And yeah, we got a lot of questions. So, こんばんは皆さん. So you know Japanese. Thank you. So currently I only know C++, and I have knowledge of data structure and algorithm. I'm not aware of the text technology shown on the site. May I apply? Yes, you can apply. So we, as Rika-san said, we have a lot of positions. So, and we don't request for specific measure. So please apply. It's okay. And what are the eligible criteria for the internship? Rika-san, could you answer this question?
So eligible criteria. Let's see. First of all, we want you to be like students, whether you're graduating soon or in a few years. And if you are talking about eligibility in terms of your experience or technical knowledge, we would like you to check out our career site, because we have different requirements for different positions, such as back end, front end. So for details, please take a look at that. And also eligible criteria, like mentioned earlier, English. If you know for positions that don't require Japanese, then English is definitely a must. So language-wise, English is one of the criteria. I think that's except the hard, the technical criteria. That is about it. And if I were to answer the next question as well, internship would be in Japan or need to work remotely. So for now, we ask everyone to come to Japan during the internship because we would like you to experience what it's like to work, well, first of all, live in Japan and also work in Japan. So that's why I think the best timing for a lot of students will be summer, during like May to May, June, July, that period where you have summer break from your university, so you can come to Japan and join us as an intern. Okay, all right. So I think that's it for me.
Thank you very much. And so let's move on to the next question. So what are the topics that we will be tested on for the internship position? Is this about the selection process, maybe? Because could you answer about this question? What are the topics? It means about the selection process?
I'm not sure exactly what Palash means by topics, so it'll be great if you can like follow up. But I believe they are talking about what topics are tested for the internship position. Maybe what will be like asked during the maybe interview. So this depends on the positions that you apply to.
Okay.
So if backend, then our either engineer or engineering manager will most likely ask you your experience related to backend engineering. If you had any past internship with other companies. Other than that, your school projects or personal projects or team projects, anything that you have worked on. Such as like hackathon. So our interviews are based on experience-based interviews. So in the experience-based interview, we will ask you about your past like technical experience, yeah, I think that's what we can that's the information we can provide about interviews.
Okay, thank you very much.
Selection process. I'm sorry. So we got additional comment from Palash. It's about the selection.
Yes, it's about that.
Selection process is. I think I briefly talked about it in the slide earlier, but we usually have a coding test, document screening, and 2 interviews for internship.
Yes. Thank you, Rika-san. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So what level of JLPT do you prefer to the position that requires Japanese? JLPT means Japanese, I think Japanese. So Japanese, okay. I think it depends on the position, but in most positions, Japanese is not that need requirement. So I think you don't need to worry about Japanese. So all the selection process or internship will be conducted in English, and in Mercari, so English speakers, many English speakers in the company. So I think you don't need to worry about the English. Okay, so let's move on to the next questions. Is it okay to learn the ongoing process, or do you want us to know some specific programming language? Okay, so it depends on the position, but we don't request for the specific background for you. So you don't need to worry about that. It depends on the position.
And what is required for each position? Again, you can see in our career, our job description. For example, for backend, we started as with PHP, but now we have been shifting to Golang. However, Golang is not a strict requirement. But for details, you can see our career site. And for example, for Android, I believe we do look for certain people with certain skill sets, like experience with Kotlin. But maybe Snehal, maybe you can add something about the requirements for Android.
Actually, for Android, it is Kotlin, like in which it's the most common language which we use for coding, and for iOS, it's Swift. For backend, it depends like which team we are joining, but we expect Golang. So those are the three tech stack. For ML, I think it depends. Like some of the teams try to code in Python, some of the teams are in Golang.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so this is last question. So time has come. So so if on coming to your company for summer internship would be accommodation or travel facility from yes, we cover the flight ticket and round accommodation fee. And in addition to this, we cover the internship visa. So they are covered by Mercari. Okay, so one more question. I'm pursuing a great course in computer science and have my undergrad in mechanical engineering. As a result, my only relevant experience comes from personal project. Yes, you can apply. So we have a lot of positions. A lot of positions you can use your background. So it's flexible. So please apply. Okay, so thank you for asking us a lot. So let's move on to the next session. Okay, so let me see. Sorry. Okay, so the old section has been finished. So thank you for coming to this event tonight. And lastly, please give us your feedback. So please answer the questionnaire for this event. I would like to improve our event in the future. So you can access by QR code, and also I pasted the QR code links at the chat space. So please access and answer this questionnaire. Okay, so that's all. Thank you very much for coming to this event. We are waiting for your apply, and I hope that you would understand about Mercari and more. So thank you for coming to this event, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.